Hey guys, welcome back and happy Sunday. All right, guys, so I've dropped a couple pre-records already, and thank you so much for sticking with me this weekend. As I told you, I was out of town, so I just got back in from Orlando today, like an hour ago. So welcome back. We're back to talk about Vanderpump Rules and Raquel, who was engaged to James Kennedy, but now she's revealing the real reason for her split, and she's talking about her breaking point and exit plan due to concern, plus their status today. She was actually worried. So we have all the details on that and more. But before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. And don't forget to hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. With that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys, so it looks like Raquel is opening up about her split from James Kennedy on a recent episode of Sheena Shay's podcast. Now, weeks after the former couple confirmed the end of their 5-year relationship while filming the Vanderpump Rules reunion, season 9 reunion, which I cannot believe that's how she ended the engagement. But hey, listen, Raquel had to get out of it some way, so good for her. Raquel explained what led her to calling it quits with DJ James Kennedy and opened up about why she was so concerned about her safety amid their surprise breakup. She said there wasn't one thing, actually. It was like an accumulation of things. This is what she told Sheena. According to Raquel, a Thanksgiving Day feud between James and her father led her to reconsider their future. She said, James has always felt like my parents haven't embraced him into the family the way that he wanted to be accepted. And my dad said some rude comments to him about him not wearing the hiking shoes that he bought him when James asked for my dad's blessing. Now, he did say that he took it very personally and he took it as a knock to his ego and reacted in a way that her sister was not happy with. She said it wasn't acceptable, and Raquel agreed. Raquel said that James became very angry and very defensive, and ultimately they were forced to return to their hotel. This is the thing, though, too. If you're watching the show, you can see where Raquel seems very uncomfortable, and she's spoken out about some of the moments between her and James where she's introduced him to the family, and he hasn't left the best impression. You also have to look at it like, this is her family who's watching their baby girl on a reality show with this guy. And James, I've known him for a while now, and he has a really great side to him. But watching him on the show, it does not do him any justice. Having him have these lash outs and these, uproars, getting upset, squeezing the water bottle, getting pissed off. I'm sure that her parents and her family's watching like, this is the man you want to marry. He needs a lot of self-healing, a lot of self-work before we're ever going to accept him into our family. Now, she did say, I found myself making excuses for him, and that's not who I am. It was getting to the point where my family and him were not meshing well. In the future of Thanksgiving and Christmases and the holidays, it was looking like it was either going to be James or my family. She said, especially if we had a baby, I feel like James would make my parents out as the not good grandparents. Just foreseeing the future and what it was all coming down to, I was like, I don't want that. It was kind of a Thanksgiving where I realized the relationship isn't one that I want to be in anymore. Again, good for her, because that's not an easy thing to do, especially after 5 years. She's ready to call it quits because she's thinking about her future, thinking about the interactions between James and her family. I even have a sibling right now, and I don't want to say their name, but they're in a relationship where their partner doesn't celebrate Christmas or the holidays, but the partner committed infidelity and, has some other beliefs, doesn't believe in celebrating holidays because of their religion, but also, is making this sibling not letting their child celebrate these holidays. And now that's causing rifts with my family, especially because he's deciding what he wants to do, how he wants to follow this. Cheating doesn't count. That's not against the religion, but then holidays are. So it's causing a rift between this person and the rest of my family. And I feel like this is the same situation, just different, right? I mean, there's obviously a rift between Raquel's family and James because of his lash outs. Now, although James is no longer with Raquel, Raquel did admit that there was a point where she found out, okay, I'm done. She waited to actually call it quits with her longtime partner, who she became engaged to in May of 2021. She knew what point that was. She said, because James does have a history of acting out and being angry, my mom and I were both concerned that he wasn't going to have a good reaction when I told him. So I wasn't planning on saying anything until he went out of town. So rather than end their romance right away, Raquel went through with the pre-planned trip to Disneyland. She said, I felt like I had to put on an act. I just wanted to make sure I was safe. This is sad. So looking back, she was more worried about herself and how she was going to get out of it due to, James's uproars and reactions than no, actually breaks my heart for her. Now, as the reunion approached, Raquel learned of not one, but two splits close to her. She said, when I heard that Randall and Lala broke up, I was surprised, but then also a little relieved for her. And then I felt this feeling not of jealous, but of envy, knowing that she's going to be okay. And then fast forward 2 days after the breakup of Randall and Lala, my friend Becca calls me and she's like, Raquel, Brian and I just broke up. They were married for 15 years and she went abroad to Portugal and had this amazing experience with her friend. And she had a near-death experience on the flight back. Things did not change and he wasn't embracing her the way that she wanted to be embraced. Raquel said, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. And then when I came out from the room, James looks at me and was like, why do I feel like we're next? So he knew it was coming. All right, so although Raquel reassured James that they were going to be just fine, things reached a breaking point as they watched back episodes in preparation for the reunion taping. She said it was the scene when Tom Sandoval and Tom Schwartz were having their breakup, and James laughed and he's like, why couldn't I have a funny storyline? And I was like, seriously? You could have if you wanted to. And he was like, what the hell does that mean? I was like, oh, just kidding. I didn't mean anything. And he's like, no, tell me what you meant by that. Well, she said, you have control over your actions and you decided that you were going to make whatever storyline about, not that it was about me, but it was about supporting me emotionally the way that I needed to be supported. And you didn't do that. And then she said, so I explained that to him and he was like, oh, I didn't know that you felt that way. And then the conversation just kept going. And she said it was like word vomit. I was like, this is what I've been feeling and I can't hold it in any longer because I feel like I'm not being an honest person and I'm lying to you and I don't feel comfortable with this. Raquel continued, so I told him, truly my heart isn't in it anymore. I don't appreciate the way you treat other people. It's not how I treat other people. And a piece of me dies inside every time you mistreat somebody. She's just so sweet. Like, how could you expect anything else from her? Ahead of the reunion taping, Raquel said that she initially planned to keep her split to herself. However, because she was feeling so anxious about what could slip out of her mouth and potentially paint James in a bad light, she ended up making the decision to reveal the breakup to their castmates. She said, the last thing I wanted to do is blindside somebody. We weren't even sure if we were going to address it at the reunion because we were like, maybe it's better to pretend everything is fine. But once we pulled up in the car, we were like, we need to tell Bill Langworthy. We need to tell the production what's going on. So Bill told Andy Cohen, Andy told Lisa, and the rest is history. Nowadays, Raquel is surrounded by people that love her and also keeping in touch with James. So that's good. She said, we're still speaking occasionally. We're still friends with one another. And we follow each other on Instagram. And we like each other's posts. My goal is to maintain a friendship because he was my best friend for so long. And it's really difficult to cut that off and pretend that it never actually happened. We spent so much time together and he was the love of my life at one point. But more than that, he was my best friend. We shared everything together, so we're going to try our best to be friends. Now, I'm sending all the positive vibes to Raquel because, again, this can't be easy, but I think that she's managing it in the best way. I do hate the fact that she was fearful, though, to explain this to James. I want to know what your thoughts are. So go ahead with all of this that I've given you, comment below, and before you go, don't forget to smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed, and don't forget to hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. With that, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.